Imagine a crescendo of drums and strings swelling above the sun-scorched cliffs of the island of Seriphos, while the camera soars like an Olympian hawk over an abandoned temple. The columns still bear the scars of the salty wind, and between them mosaics still throb with faces of gods long forgotten. Suddenly a gust tears away the millennial dust, unveiling a votive plaque, the outline of a woman's face, great eyes, lips parted in a silent cry, and hair a knot of green serpents. A deep voice rolls across the image like an echo from primordial time. There are legends that neither darkness nor time can kill. The tale of Medusa is one of them. The first written mention of Medusa appears in Hesiod's Theogony of the 7th century before Christ. The poet names 3 Gorgon sisters, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa, daughters of the sea gods Phorcys and Ceto. Only Medusa was mortal, a detail that would seal her fate. To the Hellenes, her land lay at the margins of the known world, whether on Sarpedon Island or the western shores of the land of the Hesperides, where sunset blurred into nothingness. The place was described as a peninsula of black rocks, damp caverns, and greenish waters lit only by moonlight. Any misstep could attract the Gorgon's gaze, and sailors shuddered at the thought that the sea foam hid the hiss of her snakes. The Greeks soon turned Medusa's face into an apotropaion, a talisman meant to drive evil away. Ceramic vases, hoplite shields, temple lintels, even coins bore her visage. Joined brows, protruding tongue, eyes wide open. An image poised between fascination and horror. For Sicilian colonists, the road west was lined with altars to the Gorgon, convinced that Medusa calmed storms and scattered pirates. Thus her paradoxical role was born, menace and protector at once. The canon links Medusa to the hero Perseus, son of Zeus. King Polydectes, wishing to remove him, demands the Gorgon's head as a bridal gift. Perseus receives winged sandals from Hermes, a cap of invisibility from Hades, a serrated sword from Hephaestus, and a mirror-bright shield from Athena. The Gorgon's cave, described by Pseudo-Apollodorus, trembles in shadow. A smell of burning and salt clings to your skin. Blood thrums while serpents rustle like autumn leaves. Perseus advances without looking. The shield reflects Medusa's shape and the blade falls. From the spilled blood spring Pegasus and the warrior Chrysaor, giving the legend cosmic weight. Ovid tells a tragic variant. Medusa, once a virgin priestess, was violated by Poseidon in Athena's temple. The goddess, offended, punishes not the aggressor but the victim. Her hair becomes snakes, her beauty turns monstrous. Modern critics read here a commentary on blaming the victim. In Phrygia, carved reliefs show the guardian demon Medusa. In Celtic lore, the crone Cailleach turns earth to stone at winter's onset. Across cultures, the motif returns, the lethal meeting of curiosity and taboo. Archaic artists sketch Medusa as a beast, broad brow, fangs, a fixed and terrifying stare. Classical sculptures such as the Medusa Rondinini humanize her, catching the mute tear of a victim. The power, petrification, remains constant. Byzantine tradition claims Athena gathered the Gorgon's blood. From one urn flowed a poison that kills, from another an elixir that heals. Thus Medusa stands guard at the threshold between life and death. Gaston Bachelard sees her gaze as the ultimate prohibition. To know everything slays innocence. In Jungian archetypes, she is the shadow. Reject her, and you turn to stone within your own darkness, but look at her through the mirror of consciousness, and she becomes a creative source. From the pediment of the Temple of Artemis in Corfu, 540 before Christ, to the mosaics of Fishbourne Palace in Britain, Medusa's face repeats obsessively. In the Renaissance, Benvenuto Cellini casts in bronze Perseus with the head of Medusa, a masterpiece of Baroque pathos. In 1597, Caravaggio paints Medusa's head on a shield, a moment suspended between horror and release. Artemisia Gentileschi goes further, painting herself as the Gorgon and challenging gender stereotypes. In the 20th century, Medusa floods comics and video games. Marvel reimagines her with prehensile hair, and the God of War series turns petrification into gameplay. The House of Versace adopts the Gorgonean as its emblem, an attraction with no escape, as Donatella Versace confesses. The monster becomes fashion, fear becomes luxury. Ancient maps place the Gorgon's territory where geographers wrote Hic sunt dracones. Her homeland is a labyrinth of basalt grottos, shuddering with every wave. The air smells of algae and burnt salt. Sunlight, filtered through fissures, projects rainbows on wet walls, making stone serpents seem alive. Seal colonies along the shores emit cries so human at night that sailors swear they hear hissing snakes. Modern biologists suggest these amplified howls may have fed the myth. The myth does not end with decapitation. Pindar tells that Athena fixed the Gorgonean on her aegis, turning it into a battlefield weapon. Hellenistic authors imagine a spectral dialogue. Andromeda hears Medusa's voice by night, imprisoned in Delphi's marble temple. The result? Prayers for the Gorgon's pardon and a local cult devoted to her rehabilitation, the dawn of a myth of compassion. Pliny the Elder wrote that Medusa's scales resembled malachite ocelli. Arab alchemists harvested Gorgon dust from pyrites, striking spectacular sparks that strengthened belief in petrifying magic. Libyan legends hold that soil spattered with her blood birthed carnivorous plants called dracaena, still feared by Tuareg tribes. The symbolism deepens. Life and death share a single root. The 21st century brought a pop electronic Medusa. Florence Plus the Machine released Queen of Peace, its video filmed on Sky with dancers wearing luminous snake circlets, an archaic-inspired rave. In 2023, Broadway staged the musical Stoneheart. In the aria Mirror of Ruin, a mezzo-soprano embodies Medusa before a giant screen that multiplies the audience, suggesting a fatal gaze turning spectators into emotional statues. On the 14th of June 1928, divers off Antikythera recovered a bronze bust of a Gorgon. After the dive, 2 crew members suffered hallucinations and transient paralysis. Modern analysis found box jellyfish toxins in the area, explaining the symptoms. In 1967, speleologist Dimitris Manolakis explored an underwater cave at Cape Tainaron. 30,000-year-old calcite formations mimicked a crown of snakes, and his luminous footage birthed rumors that the stones breathe. In 1975, near Butrint, archaeologists found a relief of a triple Gorgonean. Locals claimed cattle collapsed when evening shadows fell across the site. Tests showed high arsenic concentrations, residue of ancient mineralization, proof that science and legend can coexist. Geologist Anselm Kruger proposes the petrifying gases theory. Many gorgonic sites lie in travertine zones where carbon dioxide pools in caves, causing catatonia on inhalation, a phenomenon recast as myth. Psychologist Mirela Stanculescu explains the Medusa effect through the fight-freeze-flight reflex. A predator's stare can trigger motor freeze, and storytelling translates biology into the fabulous. Politically, Paul Cartledge sees the Gorgon as institutionalized fear. Look power in the eye and you turn to stone. Use the mirror of law and you survive. In 2019, astrophysicist Irina Tanazi linked the Perseid meteor shower to the sparks of Medusa's blood turning into red coral in the Mediterranean, reminding us how easily sky and legend intermingle. FBI files from the 1950s investigated occult cults inspired by Medusa, while contemporary fantasy novels recast Gorgons as anti-heroines. In fashion, Versace's 2024 clips use augmented reality. Serpent hair writhes on store screens, inviting passers-by to face the gaze. On social media, the hashtag #GorgonGaze amasses millions of views, its message one of self-acceptance. Look at your imperfections and turn them into strength. Current digital maps reveal high carbon dioxide emissions, precisely where Greek mythographers placed the Gorgon caves. Biologists note that certain Aegean vipers have green-gold eyes reflecting nightlight like emeralds, a likely seed for the mortal gaze tail. Thus, legend functions as an ancestral code warning of real environmental dangers. Irina Tanazi suggests the spectacular annual Perseid meteors inspired the belief that Medusa's blood sealed the sky's fire within coral. Though speculative, it shows how humanity unites cosmos and myth, turning astral phenomena into metaphors of hope and dread. Writer Hélène Cixous concludes, Medusa laughs. The Gorgon's laughter no longer petrifies, it liberates. On feminist banners, Medusa has become a symbol of resistance against those who condemn. Under the reddish light of the final sunset, the camera returns to the temple ruins. Wind gnaws at the pillars, and waves pound the shore as if in an ancient age. The narrator whispers, Medusa did not perish beneath Perseus's blade. She lives in our mirrors, in our art, in the fear and courage that shape us. When you see your own reflection shining in the darkness, remember, the legend does not die. It waits to be seen. Perhaps not directly, but through the shield of imagination. Do not fear the shadows. Tame them. In the place where fantasy collides with reality, there always Medusa will weave her story.